Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is second week of remote learning. We are going to revise the third lesson and some other topic from chapter 2. So this is third lesson and we are going to revise the unit 2.4, that is water. The chapter is the our life and chemistry. Before I start revision, so it is better for you to keep your copy and book with you. Your stationery items must be with you, so that we can revise and fill the worksheet which is given below. Thank you very much. Let's start the revision. Water is an organic compound because it is containing both hydrogen and oxygen in it. Water is found in the earth crust. It is in the form of fresh water, and then as a reservoir we can see it in the seas and oceans. Water is the essential constituent of our body. It is also used in by the industries for very important processes. It is essential for life, and many processes which are taking place within our body, they are dependent on the availability of water. So they could not take place without the availability of water. So interesting information about our water is that it is found in the three forms in nature. It is found as steam or vapors, it is found as a solid form in form of ice, and then it is also found in the liquid state. So water has its three states. So properties of water, they are here for you. It is very clear and odorless liquid. We use it daily. It boils at 100 degrees centigrade and freezes at 0 degrees centigrade. It ice floats over the water. Ice is the solid form of liquid water. If it is allowed to freeze, it freezes and forms the ice, and its density of ice is lower than that of water. So at the high temperature, the ice turns into water again, but at the low temperature it may again solidify. So both the densities of solid ice and water and gas, they are all different, and due to high density the water is heavy, while the uh, ice is lighter and it float over the surface of water. Water is heavier at 4 degrees centigrade and sinks down into the bottom, and further uh, cooling of the water may lead it to improve its density, and then it stays at the 4 degrees centigrade, stays at the top and forms a frozen form of solid ice, while the liquid below, which is, I'm talking about the freezing of the liquid, at high temperature it melts. The water turns into the vapor form, while when it is kept for freezing, and then it turns the form of ice. The water is heavier at 4 degrees centigrade and sinks to the bottom. Further cooling down of the surface layer of the water below 4 degrees centigrade, the density becomes at high temperature it becomes vapor, and at 4 degrees centigrade its density decreases and it start floating. It is soluble, and it may dissolve many substances in it. So water is a universal solvent. We will talk about it. So whenever the water is used for solvent purposes, it can dissolve many type of compound. For example, vitamins. Some vitamins are water soluble. Many compounds which are found in nature, they are soluble in water. So water is thought to be the universal solvent. All gases, they can dissolve in water to some extent. Example of some gases are hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, which are found in nature. Now we will talk about the another organic content which is found in the earth crust, that is air. Our air is a mixture of gases, and it contains nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, neon, and helium and krypton. The importance of air is that we breathe in. Air is an essential part of the earth, and the role of oxygen in air, that is very important. Oxygen is a gas which is used for the respiratory purposes. Really, combustion also requires the presence of oxygen. Different kinds of food uh, which undergo degradation that take place with the presence of oxygen. For example, without oxidation, some important materials they cannot be produced until unless they are degraded under the presence of oxygen. So many other processes which take place in our body, they need the presence of oxygen. If we talk about the other form of oxygen, that is ozone. Ozone is a essential part of our atmosphere. So it forms a layer which is protecting us from the dangerous hazards of the radiation which are coming from the ultraviolet rays of sunlight. It is also produced from oxygen, which is present in the atmosphere, and it is usually very protective for the living organisms. So, if we talk about the role of nitrogen in the air, air also contains nitrogen. Nitrogen is an important part of the plant, especially in animals, it is the part of proteins. So and the plants absorb nitrogen from the atmosphere, and then they use it to form the nitrate and nitrites which are in the found in the soil, and they are important for the growth of the plants and animals. So this was all about the air and water. So you will revise these pages and then submit the worksheet which is attached and given below, and then and submit it timely. See you soon. Allah Hafiz.